What is up, my viewers? Spang here, bringing you yet another World of Tanks gameplay commentary. This is going to be a replay sent in by 228, part of the Anvil clan and a regular watcher and submitter of replays. It's a tier 10 match and is 121. I can't remember. I think this is a Chinese tank? Yes, that sounds right. Chinese tank. Chinese tier 10 medium. It's been a while since I've actually seen this. You don't really see a lot of these being driven a lot around. Most of the time they're T62 alphas or Object 140s. So the 121 really not seen as often, but kind of similar in its performance. It has a 122 gun with what's its pen? Average damage 440, so pretty hard hitting, and average penetration of 258. A little bit lower than what you expect on most medium tanks. Most medium tanks are in the 260s of penetration. And usually their guns hit for a little bit less. This thing definitely is a hard hitting medium tank, unexpectedly so. Normally you don't expect that from a medium tank. Its gun stats are actually very similar to the IS-4s in that characteristic. Now, being a medium tank, it doesn't have that great of hull armor. Its turret armor, however, due to its rounded shape and its angles, definitely is formidable. Right here, the enemy team sending a scout up the center, very standard play, and he's holding up in a position where he's trying to side scrape a bit and more or less abuse what turret army he has, and possibly bounce some shots even on his hull. Granted, the armor thickness isn't that much, but those angles, just how slanted it is, will be a factor. Here we go. Object 430. That's another tier. Another medium tank you don't see a lot of. You don't see a lot of the 430. You see more T54s than anything. So the 430, definitely not common. It looks like he's waiting for a better shot than just those side tracks. And well, he decides to take it anyway, because I've been in that situation before, right? You know, you don't really have a shot worth taking, so you just kind of take it at his tracks and hope to keep him out there a little bit longer, and maybe someone else will shoot him. IS-3, severely outmatched. Probably gonna, there we go, bounce a shot off his turret. Exactly what I was going to say, and surprisingly got away without any damage. Side scraping in an IS-3, not something you see too common. A T-34, quickly realizing how bad of an idea this is, trying to take a shot, but will, again, bounce off that turret. Like I said, it's very hard to pen, and it's a very good tank. Ooh, a bit of a low roll there with 363, and he looks like he took a little bit of damage from high explosive. That IS-3 deciding to switch to high explosive. The enemy team pretty much sending everything they've got to the city. You look at all those medium tank blips on the map, and they are getting quite aggressive. That T-34 even pulling up recklessly so, and he's going to pay for that mistake very dearly. He's probably going to die any minute now. The Amex 50B getting aggressive as well and managing. That was another high explosive round, it looks like, from that IS-3, what I can only assume was that IS-3. I would not expect the 50B to be loading high explosive rounds. And hey, all I can say is 228's team, they sent a lot of tanks to city as well. So it's probably going to be quite the brawl. It's still 1 kill to 1 kill. 228's team having lost their Jagdpanther 2. The enemy team having lost an E5 and a T-34. Significant losses comparatively speaking. And ooh, finally getting penned. I'm not even sure where that happened. Yep. Right on his soft hull armor, surprisingly, or maybe it was that hatch. No, that was definitely a ricochet off that hatch. That's hard to tell. They really need to improve the hit skins in terms of like where holes appear. Sometimes it's hard to tell if it's a hole or a ricochet, but that 50B did break his gun earlier. He now using the repair kit to heal his commander, I guess. He's used both his repair kit and his med kit. So it looks like he's running smaller kits though. Definitely not the large med pack and definitely not the large repair kits. So kind of a bit odd. A lot of times when you see people running tier 10s, they'll be running the larger kits, the more expensive kits. This IS-3 trying to get a little bit tricky, but certainly not going to be tricky enough to go toe-to-toe with a tier 10. Even if it is a medium tank, the IS-3 is just severely outmatched. His friendly IS-3 pulling out in front of him a little bit, but the enemy so graciously be like, oh, your ally's blocking the shot? Let me just drive in front and get exposed for you. IS-3 looking like he's going to get, eliminated by 228. The friendly IS-3 looking like he was trying to get the kill, but quickly getting eliminated by that enemy team. 7-3, it is really just piling on. 7-4, so the gap closing there a little bit, but this 430 probably going to get eliminated. If that Tiger 2 had any sort of sense, he was pulling back when he pulling forward when he shouldn't have been, but whatever. Didn't make too much of a difference right there. And the enemy team's city push has pretty much crumbled at this point. Even their valley, their hills, whatever you want to call it, definitely not being a factor. A KV-5, a tank I have not seen in a while. Nope, that's a KV-4. Again, okay, so it is still day 4 of my post-operation recovery, and my vision isn't the best, but that KV-4 did look like a KV-5 there for just a second. Their turrets, you have to admit, are kind of similar, and it's easily mistakable. But it does look like he's running the stock turret, if I'm not mistaken. I do believe it's hard to tell from this angle and with my impaired vision, but it's a little consequence because he is going to die very shortly here. Anyway, the enemy team just crumbling under this pressure. 228 managing to get 3 kills for himself, sorry. And the field push being successful as well. So the enemy team crumbling on all fronts, managing to just absolutely throw away this game. And all they have left is a tier 10 medium tank and a tier what looks like a Carnarvon. Yep, that's a Carnarvon, all right, and he's going to die a terrible, terrible death. Looks like it was a double whammy there, and then Carnarvon just losing all the rest of his hit points. The 62A. Man, 228 not even taking the time to aim in, just going third-person view, taking those shots. 15-5, an absolute massacre. And a medium tank in the city, not something you see too often, but it worked. And I guess he knew he had that turret armor. He abused that turret armor, and he used his high damage, high rate of fire gun to really bring it to the enemy team. So the 121, I didn't know a lot about it previously, other than its turret is good. It's similar in respects to the 62 or the 140 in that regard. Good turret armor, not so great hull armor. It will penetrate the hull just fine, but its gun, surprisingly beastie. And just a bit of Asian fury brought to the city there. But let's go to those post-game stats. Doing very well for himself. He earns high caliber and mastery badge first class. It's quite difficult to get ace tanker in a tier 10 vehicle, because a lot of the times you have the better players, not always, but you will have a lot of good players playing tier 10 vehicles. So it's hard to get in that top percentile, that ace tanker percentile, when you have kind of a higher tier of players playing. But still, high caliber, earning a decent amount of experience that is without premium, and a decent amount of credits, again, without premium. Earning a total amount of damage of just over 6,700, well above the next highest damaging person on his team. Surprisingly, a 113, another tier 10 vehicle you don't see that much of, but still, kind of proving its worth. A 4502P, this is version 9.2, this is before the nerf, I believe. I'm pretty sure the 4502P got its buff. It was buffed like nothing else. Its armor just made better. It might have been in 9.2, I can't recall. That's kind of the downside to hiatus, right? You kind of lose track of what patches improved and took away from what. But still, the 4502 definitely good now and showing his worth in that battle. 50B doing pretty well for himself, Bat Chat, and then you have a couple people down further that really weren't that useful. Unfortunately, that's always going to happen. You're going to have those players, but everyone on the enemy team managing to get off at least a little bit of damage, that's respectable for them. But the IS-4 just being the only one to make any sort of dent. That Carnarvon being the second most effective in terms of damage and second most effective in terms of experience. I mean, 228 being both effective and damage and experience for his team, so very well played by him. Total number of 24 shots taken, 20 direct hits, 19 penetrations, and overall, he blocked quite a bit of damage by armor, 15-10, so respectable. Surprising he didn't get steel wall. Who took that away from him? Looks like that 4502, as if that's any shocker whatsoever. The 4502 bouncing 12 shots, but a total, well, not bouncing 12 shots, bouncing 9 of the 12 shots and absorbing over 3,300 damage into his armor. But that 4502 has become just such a steel wall, if you'll forgive me using the term of the metal, but it really has become hard to penetrate. Earning a decent amount of credits, he would have earned significantly more had he, there we go, at highlights, had he been running premium. I mean, 41,000 credits earned. That's not like total credits got, and then, you know, that's 41,000 credits netted on a tier 10 vehicle. That's not an easy feat. So very well played, and it definitely, I think part of the reason he netted so much was because he was able to use his repair modules, his health kit, and his repair tool without actually using up large kits. I mean, he definitely would have netted if he had to use the premium consumables, which a lot of people do run in their tier 10 vehicles. Still, very well played, very well done, and like I said, showing us that a little bit of Asian fury goes a long way in that city. surprisingly so. Like I said, I did not expect a medium tank to have that much damage per shot. It's kind of one of those things of you don't see a tank a lot, so you don't quite know as much about it as you do like the 62A or the Object 140. You kind of become so familiar against fighting those that you just get used to that being the standard. And so when a tank like this comes along, it kind of throws everything up in the air. But you know, that's what's nice about these vehicles, is it kind of has that shock factor of, I don't know how to fight this because it's so uncommon. And there are vehicles I have like that, definitely, and that's where their worth comes in. I will say that much. They might not be used frequently in Clan Wars or anything like that because they might not be quote-unquote Clan Wars viable, but that also means that less people know how to fight them in pubs, so it gives you an edge of sorts. But anyway, if you like this video, click that like button, blah blah blah. If you want to see more, subscribe. If you got a replay, be sure to check the description below for instructions on how to submit that. And if you got comments or suggestions on how I can make my videos or channel better, use the comment section below for that. Definitely help me to help you guys enjoy my videos. But until next time, this has been Spang, and I am signing off.